So I look back now on the legacy, and all my friends in the broadcast industry look back and say, boy, you guys really did it. And management would say, we have this blueprint.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll tell you, they had no bleeping blueprint. They were doing it by walking down the hallway trying to figure out what to do, and they stumbled upon talent. I mean, they knew who I was, but then they stumbled upon Jim Rome, and he just became an icon. A little different style, which is fine. And then they stumbled upon Chet Forte, and then they stumbled upon Steve Hartman, and they stumbled upon Philly Billy Werndl, and Scott and BR kind of came late to the party, but before that, there had been Mason and Ireland who were there and then left and have had really good success in Los Angeles. They'll say, "Oh, it's part of the blueprint." Say, "You're full of crap. It was not part of the blueprint. You stumbled upon virtually all these people, but it really worked out." And the thing that made the original 690 so successful is that, John, we all came at it from different angles. Now, you might have loved me. You might have hated Rome. That doesn't matter, because Romy had his whole entourage, and they loved him and they hated me, and that was cool.
All the clones.
Oh, that's right. And I was responsible for all those nicknames. I called them the Yobless because they used to tie up the fax machine and send Jim all these faxes. You couldn't get anything accomplished at work because the jobless, were faxing them every minute of every day. And then Steve Hartman came almost by accident from Los Angeles, and he got linked up finally with Chet Forte, and it was just a perfect hire. And they were just firing shots at everybody. I walked down the hallway one day, I see a bunch of loose cannons insulting everybody, and loose cannons stuck.
Really? You were the one?
I was the one who called them the loose cannons right out of the gate. So, we had just really good people, very different people, but the talk shows were so diverse that you had to listen to every day part to see what the next guy was going to say about what the last guy said. And everybody
it was really innovative, because no one had ever done sports like that. I mean, we had, there's always been, talk radio talking about news and politics and stuff, but 24/7 sports all day. And like you said, every one of these guys that got behind the microphone, they became celebrities here in the sports community in Southern California and have gone on to a lot of other things and different varying levels of success. But you walked in the door as an island, a one-man show. And so how do you put together a 9-hour Sunday broadcast? And how do you do that, like, by yourself?
What is in my DNA? Sports information. So when they sat me down, they said, we have to build a big pregame show and the play-by-play and a postgame show, because we need to have avails to sell to advertisers, because they were paying such a big rights fee. And I had done the same thing at Arizona State. I had created, after we got the rights at KTAR, I created Sun Devil Saturday. That's what we called it. I said, let's do Countdown to Kickoff. I said, I'll devise. We wound up doing a 2-hour pregame show. I'll devise 9 different segments. It's interviews. It's the player interview, a coach's interview. It's the opposing play-by-play interview. It's a package thing with the opposing coach talking about the game. It's the Chargers coach's interview. It's the interview with the general manager, Bobby Beathard. So after a while, all of a sudden, you got all this content, 9 different programs. By the way, sales guy is running up and down the hallway, loving it, because now he's got different content to sell that had never, ever been done before. And then I said, after the game, what we really want to do is keep people listening, time spent listening, keep them coming out of the stadium, punching up the car phone, and listen to the postgame show. We had a number of different guys that did the postgame show. I anchored the pregame show, and I got some people to voice track the different segments. Then I did the play-by-play, and then I did another hour post-game talk show. But that was so I could control the content and how it should be delivered and all that. And the thing really worked. People were coming out of the game. The Chargers were losing a lot then. They were coming out, and the first thing they would do was start the engine. Second thing they do was punch up 690 and listen to the callers. And so we did that, and we evolved this talk show. So that's how I did a 9-hour game day broadcast, and they gave me carte blanche. And I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try to make it work. and it worked. Then the team got good, and then the team went to the Super Bowl, and they started to win during the Bobby Ross, Boss Ross era, and we were off to the races, and our ratings were just unbelievable.
You
So
remember back, I think it was in 93, and the Chargers started out 0-4, and then Beathard traded for Humphreys. And I think you said on your show that they're going to make the playoffs. And sure the hell they did. And right after that season, I got season tickets to the Chargers, and I literally had a little transistor radio, and I'd hold it up to my ear, sitting in my chair, listen to you doing play-by-play while I watched the game at Qualcomm.
and my favorite phrase was ticket in your left hand, transistor radio in your right hand. And it was. And we did a video, a little promotion package of all the people sitting in the stands with headsets on. I mean, it was really cool. It's not that way anymore. So we had a chance to do something creatively different. And that included coaches shows during the week and a GM show and NFL draft. We did a 9-hour draft day broadcast. Draft day. We sat at the stadium in the restaurant there, and we brought our whole broadcast team in, and we put them up on a podium.
And that was when the draft wasn't that big of a thing.
Well, it was starting to become a big thing, but we did 9 hours on draft Saturday. We were on and on and on, and it was hard. I think back now and said, boy, what did we ever have the energy to do it? But we were really fortunate.